All right, today I'm going to be trying out this trophy tape. Supposedly helps you score your deer really fast. Comes with 3 rolls, says 600 inches of scoreable tape. But it's from Wild Game in what does that say? Innovations, Wildlife Innovations. So Wild Game Innovations, sorry. But yeah, so supposedly it helps you score your deer pretty easy. So I'm going to give it a try, see how I like it. Here we go. All right, so I just got the first one done. And so a couple things I want to mention is this isn't very sticky at all. Like, it comes off really easy, so you got to be careful. But I'll just put them on all the points. Hang on, let me flip them over real quick. So yeah, like I was saying, and just put it on all the points. And then how it works is then whatever your last, like I did my main beam last. And so if I can get it to focus. See right there how it says 83, and then it's got 3 little lines. So that's 83 and 3/8. And I've scored them with an actual tape, and that's pretty accurate. So I'd say they do pretty good and stuff. So, and I was a little worried about it leaving sticky residue, but I don't think you got to worry about that because they're not hardly sticky at all. In fact, they could probably be a little more sticky. But yeah, so we'll do the other side and see how that works. Another thing I want to mention on how to get the best rip that I could figure to get the closest is, say I'm wrapping it around right there. I put my finger right on, like, because it ends right there. That's a really accurate one. To get them right to line up, I just put my finger right there and pull it. So I put this finger on, I'm holding that tape in the other hand. I just push down really hard right on where the 2 lines meet and rip it, and it rips really consistent. So that's how to do that. So we'll just keep finishing this up. Let's see what this buck scores. I know that it says that there's 200 inches on each roll, and it comes with 3. So each tape should do about 1 deer. All right, so I just got him finished. Got all the tapes on, and I'll show you the end score here in just a second. But one thing I want to show you is I didn't want to get it on the velvet because this was an archery buck, but so I just measured out how much the velvet was and then started it where it's hard horn. So like if you unrolled this, it'd go to the end of the velvet, and then this little piece is for that little extra there, and then this piece here is for this. Okay, so we just did that, which is actually accurate. I actually did set it on there. I just didn't want to stick it on there, so threw it on there, and it's not very sticky. It probably would be fine on velvet, but see how that stuff comes off. You got to really push it on there. But anyways, the final score of this big old boy, well, without the width, is, hang on, let me flip him over and then I'll show you real quick. All right, I'm back. So the final score of this big old boy is, if I can get it to focus there. Can't get it to focus, there we go. So 173 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 eighths, which there's probably another 8 that I cut it off a little short, so I'd say 174. So 174. So yeah, 174 is the final score on there. Got 174. And then we're just gonna add the width to this guy and we'll see what he is. So I'll be right back. And the last thing I want to mention is that's the end of the roll right at 200. But we're gonna, oh, it's got about another 5 inches worth of tape after the end of it. So you just know that's about what you got. So kill a big buck, you might need 2 rolls, but for your average buck, you're probably just gonna need your 1 roll. But this is a giant, used up the whole tape. But sweet, cool tapes, and they do look pretty sweet. I'll show you from the other side. So that's just my width tape, but it looks pretty sweet. Makes you feel all official on your buck. But yeah, sweet, sweet. All right, so I just did his inside width. That's this one. I didn't know if you were supposed to use regular tape or this, but whatever. I used this, stretched it out between here on the main beam and here, the smallest inside, or largest inside, I mean. And the total comes out to just over 200. So I would guess that to be about 200 and some change, about quite a bit over 200. Not quite a bit, sorry, like 200 and probably 4/8 would be my guess. But that's just on a rough score. I've scored this buck lots of times, and I usually get about 205. So it's pretty accurate. I'd say plus or minus 5 inches with this tape. But definitely if you want something to just quickly score an animal at camp or whatever, check them out. Trophy Tape, Wild Game Innovations. Finally got that name. Yeah, Wild Game Innovations. Check them out, Trophy Tapes. Pretty accurate.